I'm going to go over some of the mop talents, the 5.04 patch, pre-mop druid talents and glyphs. For the level 15 talent, I went with Wild Charge for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, you're used to it. Everyone, you've always had it as a feral druid, and it's kind of a downer without it. The two other choices you have are Feline Swiftness, which increases your movement speed by 15%. I could see it being really useful in PvE, but on PvP, as a kitty, not only do you get 2 sprints, you're fast as a kitty anyways, and sometimes you need to get to that target over obstacles or up levels. Displacer Beast is more of a boomkin slash resto druid kind of thing, because not only does it blink you away from your target, which as a feral you want to be on your target more than away, it puts you in prowl form, which I don't understand because you don't really have any cloaks as a druid besides your disease removal thing. But you really don't have any cloaks as a druid, so that would just pop you back out in PvP situations. So I think Wild Charge is the best way to go. Not only is it the normal charge you always get with Bear and Kitty Cat, you also get a new neat ability where you can intervene friends or charge up to a friend's, which might be interesting if you're trying to get away real fast or something.
That spell is not ready yet.
One bad thing about Wild Charge that I found is you don't have your instant Ravage anymore, and that was a pretty main source of damage for ferals. I may be wrong on this. I just started playing again, but from what I can tell, I mean, they took away the instant Ravage out of the Wild Charge.
That ability is not ready yet.
The second thing I went with, the level 30 talent, was Cenarian Ward. And this is probably the hardest decision as a feral druid, the level 30 talent, because they're all kind of, resto defensive talents. The first one, Nature Swiftness. If you're any kind of feral druid, the Predator Swiftness is your go-to instant cast. And you really, really don't need to use Nature Swiftness on a Cyclone because you have Predator Swiftness. So it's kind of a wasted talent. I mean, yeah, you can pop it on a heal, but I don't think it's worth it because you can do the same thing with Predator Swiftness. Renewal, that's a one-time 2-minute cooldown, 30% maximum health. It's good. It's a good, boom, quick cooldown, but I think it's more of a tanking thing, like a panic tanking thing. Big Cenarian Ward, not only can you use it in kitty form, on your friends, and on yourself, it's a 30-second cooldown, so you can use it more often. It's a pretty strong, rejuve, and that's what I went with. I think it's way more efficient than the other two. Another thing, since we're mentioning Predator Swiftness, you don't have to go into your caster form and cast Cyclone anymore. I don't know if people like macros to get around that in the first place, but people like me who play without mods, for the most part, had to go into caster form where you're vulnerable. You can cast it straight out of cat form now without changing. It's nice. The third talent, the 45 talent, is something that I probably differ with 100% feral druids with. Fury Swarm is an amazing talent for PvP and PvE, I'm sure, because not only do you cast, Fairy Fire on pretty much everything, it slows your target by 50%, so that's pretty much like a always slow target. But the reason I didn't go there is because all my attacks slow anyways, and I'm going to charge you and put a slow on you pretty much instantly, regardless. Mass Entanglement's cool. It's good for CC, like if you want to throw it on somebody and run away. It's really good in arenas if you're playing with a healer and you're trying to peel off your healer or something like that. I think it's an amazing talent. But the 2-minute cooldown is kind of a downer. I went with Typhoon just for the fun of it and the fact that I'm going to be doing BGs, if I coming up into mop. That knocking people off of things without leaving kitty form is just fun. This was a sheer fun decision. I think Typhoon is amazing, and a cat with Runkin skills sounds fun to me. Mass Entanglement, if you're arenaing with a healer, I could see that. And Fury Swarm, I could see the appeal, but I don't see the usefulness. Maybe if you did Fury Swarm and Feline Swiftness, but since I have Wild Charge, I really don't see the point in doing that. This next decision was interesting too. The Soul of the Forest, I saw that as more of a PvE talent. The other two are too good for PvP to pass up. That's more of like a pure DPS type thing if you're trying to put your finishing moves, in the touch. Incarnation, really cool, but there's some things about it that I didn't like. This is like your Shadow Dance, I think, for Rogue. It puts you in a different form, 3-minute cooldown, where you can use your stealth abilities like Pounce, Ravage. In fact, it's the only time that you would use Ravage if you got this Incarnation ability. The reason I didn't pick it up is because it takes so long to, your energy regen when you pop that, unless you save your Berserk for exclusively when you pop Incarnation, is just enormous for Ravage. So basically what you do if you got that skill is pop Ravage, and you could re-stealth, re-pounce, you could just spam Ravages if you saved your Berserk for it. I went with Force of Nature because not only does it, stun them, your Trance will stun them, they confuse your enemy and stuff, and it's just kind of fun to have a couple Boomkin talents in there. Incarnation might be the better use, but as a druid, I get some Ravages out of it and I get a stun out of it. I can't really re-stealth in PvP because those dots. I see those dots. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm playing this wrong, but I don't see myself re-stealthing as a feral druid. So I went with Force of Nature for sheer, they stun, they do damage, they confuse, and you can cast them instantly. They're only on a 1-minute cooldown, as opposed to a 3-minute cooldown, where you can pretty much re-pounce, re-ravage, re-stealth, maybe. I just thought it was a more fun decision to have some Trance anyways, and that's why I went with that one. The next talent, it's really interesting, and it's for control. There's Mighty Bash, which is the normal stun you get, which is the stun they took away in bear form. There's the new, which is Ursol's Vortex, which is just amazing for crowd control and general use. And then there's Disorienting Roar, which is like the Mage's Fire Blast, I guess. It disorients enemies for 10 seconds in the area. A lot of druids I see are going with that for, I guess, this crowd control. The 30-second cooldown is real nice. That ability is really strong. The reason I didn't go with Disorienting Roar is it stuns them for 3 seconds every 30 seconds, but you can't do any damage, and I'm going to have bleeds on you pretty much always. So the minute I do that, you're going to get taken out of it unless you're CC'd by a Cyclone or something else. Ursol's Vortex, though, is way more interesting. It's a new talent, and I can put bleeds on you and you're not going to be able to get away from me, or I can put it down on you and you're not going to be able to get to me for a long time. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. When you throw it down, it slows all the targets around it for 50%. And when you try to leave, if you blink away, if you sprint away, if you walk out of the vortex, it'll suck you back to the middle of the vortex one time before you can come out again. And that's a lot of CC. Like, that's a lot of distance I can get from you, especially if I have my sprints up, or if I'm trying to, use it to peel off or whatever. For the last talent, I'd probably go with Nature's Vigil, just because not only does it increase my damage by 20%, my things like Cenarion Ward would probably be affected by the healing done by 20%, and also it's on a 3-minute cooldown, which is, half as much as Heart of the Wild, and the only thing I do with Heart of the Wild is throw some healing on myself, I suppose, as a cat. I think that's neat, but I don't see the appeal in Barrel form. And Dream of Sonaris is that's a Boomkin talent all the way. Alright, some of the glyphs I chose. I chose Aquatic Form because I like to swim around in BGs anywhere. Chameleon, this is my favorite one. Every time you transfer into cat form, it's a new color, new hairstyle. I liked it. And Glyph of the Stag, now your travel form is rideable by other people, which is kind of neat. The three major glyphs were hard to choose because there were a lot of good ones. Barkskin, you can't be critically hit. Glyph of the Cat increases healing done to you 20%, and Savagery, which is the new neat one. Savagery doesn't take combo points anymore. You can pop it whenever you want to, over and over and over, which is nice. It lasts for 12 seconds, but since you don't have to waste time building combo points on it, it's definitely worth it. The ones that people might get are Prowl, which increases the movement speed while stealth by 100%, or reduces the penalty basically. And there's Nature's Grasp, which reduces cooldown of Nature's Grasp by 30 seconds, which is pretty nice.
Cast that yet. I cannot do it. Still charging. I cannot do it.
Anyways, that's a few of the talents that I chose. I think they'll be fun for the most part. Might be some tweaks later on, but
Ready yet.
there's a valid reason for what I chose. Most of it is for entertainment value.